have come to the question and answer part of our show.
Yes, indeed. We have a new question that's come in from a listener today, Lyle. Very interesting one. Who stirred...
Oh, can we read our angel story first?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what you've got to... We put this... We were talking about angels the other day.
Guardian angels.
Guardian angels. And so we put out a challenge or a request. I'm like, send in your angel stories. And this is one of our angel stories. And I wanted to share it with you because it's a really good story.
Yeah. We love angel stories here.
Why has it disappeared off my phone? Swipe to... it's not my phone. It's somebody else's phone. This is the Faith FM phone. And these are crazy things. I'll let you figure that out.
Okay.
While you're figuring that out, we will go to question of the day. Well, actually, have you got that there, Mon?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay.
So the question that's come in today is, who stirred the waters at the pool of Bethesda?
Okay, so this is an interesting story. If we go to John chapter 5, you can read it right here where it says this. After this, there was a feast of the Jews and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is at Jerusalem by the sheep market a pool which is called in the Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. This is just to the north of the Castle of Antonia. I've actually been there. And if you go there today, you're going to have to go down a long way, about 50 feet or so, 20 metres, something like that. You have to go down underground to actually see the pool of Bethesda, because over the years, of course, with various levels of destruction, the city's been built up and built up and built up. And this is how ancient cities are. They sort of, they rise up in a mound. And if you want to find the older parts, you've got to dig a long way down. So you've kind of got to go right the way down, and there you can find the pool of Bethesda. The word Bethesda means house of mercy. Oh. And of course, having its 5 porches, obviously with columns to hold it up, it would be a convenient place for poor people, lame people, ill people to be able to rest, where there was shade and shelter from the elements. Now the Bible continues on, and I want you to notice very, very carefully what the Bible says. In verse 3, in these lay a great multitude of impotent people, blind, lame, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the troubling of the water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there which had an infirmity 38 years.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so somebody wants to know, who was it that was stirring the water in the pool? Okay, the Bible says... the Bible doesn't say that God was doing a miracle here in this particular pool, and that God was just choosing people on a basis of fitness as to whether he would heal them or not. That would be a very strange thing to do.
It sounds a little cruel, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're ready? I'm going to stir the pool. Oh, you missed out. Something like it just doesn't sound.
Yeah, because only the people who didn't really need the healing the most would be the only ones who would ever go in there.
Yeah.
This was actually, if you study into the history of it, a Jewish legend.
Oh.
So this pool had been built, and when it was first built, of course, it was outside of the city walls, but it had been built for the purpose of supplying water for the sanctuary, for the temple. And because of its association with the temple, obviously there were some people who, I guess, jumped in the pool, when the water was all stirred up there on occasions. And, as it does with any pool, you will get, particularly pools that are associated near walls or near buildings, you will get eddies of wind that will at times, stir up the water. And it's like, where did that come from? How did that happen? And somebody was obviously, recovered from a disease. And so the legend went out and the legend grew. And so it seemed that everybody would go there trying to be healed.
So it's myth.
Yes, this was a Jewish legend that, has become part of the story of Jesus right here. And of course, this lame man, he's been there for 38 years. That is a very, very long time. And of course, just trying to get into this pool because he's tried everything else. Now, continuing on with the story, we find that Jesus goes there, he heals this person and nobody else.
Okay.
Yeah, so verse 6, when Jesus saw him lie, he knew that he had been now a long time. And he says, do you want to be made whole? And the man said, I have no one when the water is troubled to put me in the pool. But while I am coming, another steps down before me. Jesus said to him, rise, take up your bed and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. And on the same day was the Sabbath. Anyway, so then he gets in, so he's healed. He picks up his bed, he walks away, and he gets in trouble from the Jewish leaders because he's carrying his bed on the Sabbath.
Oh, it's so
Silly. You wouldn't even think about it, would you? Just like walk out of there like, this is so exciting. And Jesus just melts into the crowd. He is so excited. He's walking away right there, with his bed under his arm, just not thinking about it. And suddenly he's in all kinds of strife. Like, oh, what are you doing? You can't be carrying a bed. What's going on here? Your blanket roll or swag or whatever it was that he had. And he's like, the man who healed me told me to do it, as you would say, And of course, eventually that turns out to be Jesus who has done this. And so then the Jews get all upset with Jesus because not only did he give this man, according to them, bad instruction, but he also healed him on the Sabbath. And that was just, they could not possibly fathom the thought that, anyone would do such an evil deed as relieve somebody's suffering on the Sabbath.
38 years of it. Yeah.
I'm being a little bit facetious there and sarcastic. Anyway, did you find our story for us yet?
Yeah, but I just wanted to add, one of the things I love about the story about the Pool of Bethesda is that all these people are there, it just engulfed in just this myth, and yet Jesus walks in, and it's like the arrival of truth and the arrival of something that can actually heal. And it's like it's like a type of our world today.
I think one of the reasons that Jesus chose to do it here was to show the contrast between myth and reality.
Yeah, exactly.
You've all been following this myth, but here's the actual reality. Okay, so we asked you to send in your angel stories, and I'm hoping for a lot more, but I'm just going to share this one with you. We've got to share one of them. It says, "Good morning, breakfast team. I had an experience when I was in Corryong in Victoria. I had a really long day, and it was 2 a.m. I was busking my way around Australia, and I put my last $16 into my Corolla, and that was all that was in the tank. I was pushed by my guardian angel to go to my friend's house in Lilydale in Melbourne. I said to the angel, I can't. I've had no sleep. The angel said, go. So I said, you will have to drive. I felt myself grow in my seat. It was weird, and I set off. The next thing I knew, I was outside of my friend's house in Lilydale, and there was still enough fuel to get to a petrol station after I went busking for money to buy it. Amazing. My friend had accidentally taken an overdose of prescription drugs, but he was okay because I got there in time. So here we have an angel story of an angel who pushed this guy. You need to get to this house. You need to get to this address. He arrives there just in time to save that person's life.
That's incredible.
If you've got an angel story, please send it through. We would love to hear your story and share it on Faith FM, because we can encourage other people and we can all be strengthened in our faith as we look at other people's experiences.
Of course, if you have a question, you can call them through as well, Faith FM. Our number is 1-800-324-843. It's 1-800-FAITH-FM. Or you can text your questions 0491 064 669. We will answer them live on air. Thanks, Lyle. Good answer there.